Check it out, people, it's Fresh Mark Sense with another fresh review. Today I'll be reviewing a perfume that I've been recommended by a friend, L'Homme Ideal by Guerlain. Now this is a scent that I could have chosen the more out there newer ones which have plum and cherry and more smoky tobacco vibes, but I chose the more light, fresh citrus and leather combination of Ideal because it has citrus, orange blossom, which keeps it effervescent. The only other fragrance that I've actually experienced which is this light is light in its sweetness is possibly Umo by Ferragamo, Salvador Ferragamo Umo, which has a tiramisu and orange blossom sweet note. But this goes in another direction. This is citrus and fresh, so it has citrus in the top note. The sweet notes in the middle are tonka bean and almond to give it an unusually almost lemon and almond kind of smell. The dry down here is very creamy vetiver, so almost smells like Chanel Allure Homme Sport, the Blanche edition, which has a very creamy Sicilian lemon in the top note. It almost comes off as there is some kind of lemon in there with the almond in the middle note. So the fragrance is rounded off with some vetiver and leather. Yes, so this fragrance is sweet without adding the note of vanilla. And I was saying in a previous video that there's other fragrances that can be sweet and fresh without directly involving vanilla, and it's interesting to explore those fragrances so you don't have many fragrances which are just overdosed in vanilla, and you look back at your fragrance collection and you think, I could have done a little bit better with my buying choices and sort of spread my bets a little bit more with more unique fragrances. So this is a very sweet fragrance for a fragrance that doesn't have vanilla, and it reminds me of the sweetness of vanilla from the tonka bean and the effervescent, very light, sweet orange blossom. When I spray it on my arm, I'll quickly go for it. Good to give you a little description just before I go into it. I've sprayed this before about 3 times already. What I'm getting right now is a sweet vetiver and orange blossom, but on the top note, let's spray it on here. By the way, this is spray. Maybe you didn't see that outside. Well, I went about that far. It's pretty good, and the distribution is about that wide. So right off the top notes, it comes off as very zingy citrus, more herbal, like a lime skin. There's some kind of cherry syrupy almond thing going on. With the almond, there seems to be a cherry level, almost as if those marzipan cakes with the little cherry and almond slices. There's slightly just a cherry lining to the almond note, which give it some sour freshness. The citrus notes on top start quite lime fresh and then go to a more creamy, smooth lemon, reminiscent of Chanel Allure Homme Sport Blanche edition. The citruses are quite bitter and fresh. They have a limey zest, but they're quite camphorous as well. Herbal, quite green. And then after about 5 minutes that subsides a little bit, but it still stays fresh in the background, but it's not so bitter and green. It goes more into sweet creamy notes of tonka bean in the mid, and that orange blossom from the top really transitions it well from being a herbal fragrance with a light touch of white floral to a white floral and creamy fragrance, and then a sour and leather fragrance at the end. But overall it feels quite preppy, quite done up, quite smart, casual. Very nice presentation of the bottle as well. I do like that for 150ml they've actually saved on space with this. This isn't actually quite large. This isn't that large for you know, they could have made it a lot larger. This is a good box size because easy to store really. I mean, that's my main problem now. I'm very selective on what I buy, but this was a recommendation because a friend of mine, they work in different houses and they have lots of different clients and stuff like that, and one of them wears a perfume that was very fresh and it reminded of me, they said. So I thought, okay, let's check this out, because I've tried some Guerlain fragrances and the projection and longevity. Projection is okay for the first hour, but longevity and projection overall is much to be desired really. About 3 hours I got for my last Guerlain fragrances, which were Habit Rouge, lasted for about 5 hours, but it wasn't a very good scent. It was a bit old school and overhyped in the fragrance community. Then I tried L'Instant, which I really liked, the Eau de Toilette, but the Eau de Parfum, it seemed richer but it didn't last. So did the Eau de Toilette. It sort of fizzled out after the 3 hour mark. So I thought, what is happening with Guerlain? So when I smelt this Guerlain Le Homme Ideal, right, when I smelt this, I was thinking, wow, this is actually a little bit different from the line. This is most true to the original DNA, in that it has that almond note, the leather note, orange blossom to keep it a little bit sweet on top, and it's generally a sweet, leathery, slightly creamy almond fragrance. And I've had different iterations of that in the past few years. There's a tobacco and cherry version with vanilla, and that smells quite good too, but I think it's a little bit I don't know, I prefer this more because it seems more original to me and a little bit different. I have fragrances that are like this, but are not completely the same, and this has a very bright citrus note for how creamy and sweet it is in the mid, and the leather note, I'd say it seems like it's an orange popsicle because it has that bitter orange with the citrus. The citrus is green and the citrus is quite green and limey, and the bitter orange creates a rounded juiciness. But I do smell cherry along with the almond, which keeps it lemon, creamy. Very unusual yet pleasant scent. I'd say the only thing that I smell similar to this is Salvador Ferragamo Umo, but that is slightly sweeter with tiramisu note and more powdery. I believe this is very fresh with no badly blended, no harsh edges, so this is very well blended, very smooth. In terms of being mass appealing, I don't know, I think this is unusually fresh, so this will probably get like a 7 out of 10, whatever. But I'll be happy to wear this during summer, autumn, maybe during winter. I don't think it will project, but it would be a nice scent bubble just to have around me. So definitely check out Le Homme Ideal by Guerlain. If you like this fragrance, tell me what you've done with this fragrance, if you mix it with other fragrances, and how you wear it, if you wear it in summer or if you wear it in the winter to give a nice warming scent bubble when people are close to you. I think this projects quite well. I smell it up close, I smell it like an orange popsicle and quite creamy, and far away you get the light bursts of freshness from the orange blossom. And on the dry down, like this is the last spray that, well, not the last spray, the first spray in a long time, you do get a slight muskiness from the leather, but it's never overpowering. It's like a soft, light, thin brown waxed leather jacket, you know, the really thin wax one. So it is quite a classy scent because it has a touch of masculine touch, a sweet touch, and a citrus touch to keep it fresh and clean. So it's clean, sweet, and masculine. So definitely check this one out if you like the sound of all those three things: clean, sweet, and masculine. And take care, stay fresh.